Hello and welcome to Viking Park once again for the second game of Match Day 2 of the PacificAus Four Nations Tournament in Canberra. Earlier today we saw Thailand under-20s get a massive win over Vanuatu, and the young Matildas will be hoping to do the same today against the Solomon Islands. We saw a glimpse of what the new cycle could bring for the young Matildas when they defeated Vanuatu 9-0 on Wednesday. But the Solomon Islands present a slightly different challenge. Both teams will be looking to learn and build from what they learn today. Well, a new cycle, as we mentioned, for the young Matildas. It is also preparation for the Solomons, who are looking ahead to the OFC Nations Cup 2025 in July. Recently, they made the final of the OFC Olympic qualifying tournament, and while they fell in that final to New Zealand, a Jamina David goal gave them confidence that with time and experience, they can battle it out with the best. The weather in Canberra today, it's a warm one, particularly by Canberra standards. Got up to a high of 29 degrees earlier in the day. It'll just be beginning to cool down now, down at ground level, as the players have made their way out onto the pitch. The bench there, a full bench for the young Matildas putting on their bibs. It's an incredible experience for these young players, many of whom have just graduated from the under-17 program. Happy to pose for photos as well. The starting sides coming out onto the pitch in Canberra. A big crowd has built as fans hope to get a glimpse of what may one day be Matildas at the senior level. And of course for the Solomon Islands, well, they are a nation where football is the #1 sport. Don't always say that in the Pacific, but in the Solomons, football and futsal as well is such a huge thing for them. The men's national side, particularly the futsal side, Kuru, worshipped over in the Solomons, and their women hoping to have a similar impact as they continue to build and grow. Let's go down to ground level now for the national anthems. A moment of immense pride for both sides as they represent their countries and sing their national anthems loud and proud. Well, we'll take a look now at the way that these two sides line up this afternoon. And for Australia, for the young Matildas, a whopping 8 changes to the side that took on Vanuatu on Wednesday as interim head coach Corey Babington hopes to see as many players as possible. Maya Lobo, Tegan Bertolicio and Talia Yunus, the only players that remain, but expect to see lots of changes throughout the game. Grace Kualamu, Ilona Maleg and Ruby Sullivan are the 3 to sit out entirely today, while Zara Kruger takes the captain's armband. Well, by contrast, for the Solomon Islands, only 2 changes, with Lisa Solo and Donna Kyrie coming into the starting lineup in place of Alicia Dongda and Tessica Rotuava. Part of preparing for tournament football is preparing for the fast pace of games, and no doubt their coach Bartram Suri is hoping that minutes into the legs of his players will do them the world of good. And Solomon Islands in their huddle getting the last word from their coach Bartram Suri. They'll be hoping to give a good account of themselves at that OFC Nations Cup in July, perhaps even make the finals again. Of course, New Zealand, the dominant side in the OFC at the moment, but Solomon Islands not far behind in both men's and women's. Again, it's all about continuing to learn and continuing to grow. The 2 number 10s, our 2 captains today, Eileen Peggy of the Solomon Islands and Zara Kruger of Australia. They are lining up to pose for a photo with our referees, the central official being Rebecca Durkow. She's assisted by Maria Salamasina from Samoa and Lata Kuamatule from Tonga. The 4th official today is Kelly Jones. So a big team huddle for the young Matildas, many of whom making their first appearance at under 20 level, or their first start at under 20 level today. This tournament, the first time that this group of under 20s have gotten together. They will of course be looking to qualify for the Under 20 Asian Cup, and then perhaps for a 3rd time in a row, the Under 20 World Cup. It has been a successful few years for the Under 20s program in Australia, of course previously overseen by Leah Blaney, who has now gone over to assist Japan's senior national team. Corey Babington in as the interim head coach for this tournament. A long-time assistant who'll be very familiar with many of these players. So Australia, in their teal kit, will be the team to get us underway. It's Melbourne City's Shelby McMahon standing over the ball alongside Western United's Avani Prakash. As the players await the whistle of the referee, Corey Babington watching on. And the assistants there, Helen Winterburn. I'll be hoping to see their players play out the patterns that they've practiced in training, finish clinically, and hopefully have another big win. We're just awaiting that whistle from the referee, and we are underway in Canberra. It's the young Matildas, Australia's under 20s, taking on the Solomon Islands. Match day 2 of the PacificAus Four Nations Tournament. Australia got off to a good start on Wednesday. They'll be hoping to continue that with a new look side this time out. The Solomon Islands will be looking to hold them out, but also to take what they can out of this experience, to learn and to improve. And they are dangerous on the counter-attack. Saipio immediately winning the ball. Lack of support, the problem there. We saw this earlier in the day with Vanuatu taking on Thailand. There is a lot of talents up top. Solomons in the past few years have been a side that has shown their skills at this level. Maybe just opportunities will show themselves in transition, in counter-attack. Here come the young Matildas. Eunice squaring the ball. And is kept out by Jean Hanagaro in the Solomon Islands goal, who you imagine will have a busy evening tonight. It's important for Australia's defence that they remain disciplined and alert to the threat on the counter. Prakash trying to thread a ball through. A little bit too much on it for Peter Trimmis. Trimmis wearing shirt number 22 today. Plays her club football at the Central Coast Mariners. Trimmis was a star last year during the Under-20 Asian Cup. We're looking to continue that form into this cycle as well. Of course, this is just the beginning. So many players will get their opportunity throughout this entire 2-year period for Australia. Players who have been involved in under-17s and new players as well will emerge through this period. Here Australia comes again. Good ball cut back inside by Alexis Collins, one of the younger players in this team, only 16 years of age. Australia just looking to create that first clear-cut chance. Kruger in midfield with the captain's armband, playing for Brisbane Roar this season. Lobo at centre-back wearing the number 9 shirt. Don't see that too often. Eunice. Ball delivered central. Trimmis couldn't get the connection that she needed. Well, twice now, Talia Eunice has found space on that right-hand side. It's just not quite falling for Australia just yet. Still very early days, of course. Solomon Islands with the throw. Edith Nari. Play it back to try and keep possession, but it's intercepted. A break on for the young Matildas here. Trimmis is central. Peter Trimmis. Well, that touch just too heavy. You can see what she was trying to do to round the keeper and place it into the back of the net. Not able to do so on that occasion. Intercepting high again. Back to the edge of the area. A shuffle. Prakash has the ball taken away. Already the industry of the Solomon Islands making itself apparent. Kruger. Bennett. Out wide to Eunice. Prakash showing for the ball. Eunice goes all the way to the byline. The low cross and the back post effort hits side netting. And Eunice again. He's running riot down that side. India Breyer, the player who had the shot. Breyer, a late inclusion into this side. There were 4 players who were originally named in this squad who had to withdraw due to injury. Isabella Hoyos of Brisbane Roar, Amber Luchtmeyer of Sydney FC, Alexia Apostolakis of Melbourne City, and Tiana Fuller of the Central Coast Mariners. Most of those appear to be relatively minor knocks, but it did rule them out of this international window and this tournament. That meant that India Breyer, Alexis Collins, Christina Kicek, and also Nikita Fazari were able to join the squad. Eunice going central. Lovely turn from Trimis that time. But the finish was able to be stopped by Hanagaro. Trimis has had a number of sights on goal now. Again, another chance created by the work down that right-hand side for Australia. Breyer. Lobo. Bennett. Prakash. Well worked again. Eunice in acres of space again. Eunice's ball too close to the keeper. Hanagaro can collect. You imagine Hanagaro will be looking to launch the ball long whenever the ball is in her hands. Attempt to get something started for the Solomons. Eunice will keep it in. Trimis coming short this time. Goes to ground, legally says the referee. Kruger, Zara Kruger in space. And she scored her first goal for Brisbane Roar in the A-League Women from a very similar position against the Western Sydney Wanderers. She opted that time to try and play in a teammate rather than go for the shot. And Corey Babington just explaining some of his instructions, making sure that everyone is on the same wavelength. Corner taken short, Prakash. Low cross, the strike will find its way through. Australia strike early. A shot from the edge of the area, not able to be dealt with. And Shelby McMahon scores the opener. Prakash's ball through, went all the way back, and then McMahon arriving at just the right time to get it past Hanagaro. The 16-year-old scores her first goal of the tournament. The youngster, she has been so impressive at domestic level. She scored twice last season when she was still 15 in the A-League Women's, and now scoring for the young Matildas. Here's Trimis. Trimis cutting it back. Defended away by the Solomon Islands, and indeed the offside flag will prevent any further attack. We'll go down now to ground level with Russ Gibbs. Russ, what can you tell us about what's happening down there on the park?
Well, the first thing, Taryn, that we've noticed at pitch level that you've probably seen on your screens is Australia have three at the back. Probably to overload the midfield where they're getting a lot of joy in the early stages. The other thing is the great support here. The main stand behind us here at Viking Park is almost full. It's a real good turnout of Australian fans as well, but there's some wonderful support from the Solomon Islands to our left. There's huge noise for everything that they do, whether it's a save, a tackle, a run. There's a big pocket of them to the left. I'm sure you'll see them throughout the coverage. The conditions, well, the sun sun's going behind the main stand. The shadows are lengthening and it's cooling, which will make for a great after evening's entertainment, I would imagine. And a good start for Australia with that goal from Shelby McMahon.
Thank you, Russ. Australia in the attack once more. McMahon trying to make something happen, as the Solomon Islands fans are very passionate, very supportive of their team. Football, the #1 sport in the Solomons. And it shows with the fanatical support of its players. There's plenty of Australian fans here too, and they'd love if Australia can score a second here, but it's well defended by the Solomons that time. Good work from Bertolicio. McMahon's been busy. And play will have to be stopped here because there's a second ball on the pitch. Well, that would have been unfortunate had Australia continued that attack down that right-hand side. Of course, that has to be dealt with. Referee Rebecca Durkow running over and just throwing it off the pitch. Don't want any controversies in this game. And it did look like that was where Australia's attack was going as well. So it needed to be dealt with. Bennett. Yunus. Being taken down. Legally, says the referee. For Solomon Islands. An attempt on the counter here. Eileen Peggy trying to play the ball forward. Didn't have the support arriving in time. Solisaya was there, but not quickly enough. Ball played through. Section 4 Yunus, who is back to her feet. There's an example of some of those Solomon Islands fans on the hill there. With that big flag. That's just fantastic to see. And is really one of the wonderful things about this tournament. Not just for the players who are learning lots, but also for fans who can come and enjoy what their side has to offer. Of course, these young Matildas players wanting to impress, but also for the Solomon Island players, maybe be wanting to impress not just back home, but maybe locally as well. In the men's game, there is some connection with Australia, with Rafael Liai playing in NPL Queensland. You wonder maybe who might be the first women's player to make the move over to play some club football in Australia. If they can make a name for themselves here, score a goal, defend stoutly, you just never know. Peggy's ball up the line for David. Jamina David, of course, scored that emotional goal against New Zealand in the 2024 Olympic qualifying final. New Zealand went on to win that game, but it was a phenomenal moment for the Solomon Islands to score that goal. Ball cross towards the back post. We'll go over the head of Trimmis. He'll have to backtrack to collect. Bennett. Ball played central. McMahon not able to find a path to shoot. So she'll play it back to Kruger. Bennett. Trimmis. Great turn from Peter Trimmis. But still not able to find that clear path to shoot. She probably ran the wrong way. She turned the right way the first time and then turned back into traffic. This is a 3 at the back formation, as Russ Gibbs pointed out earlier, for the young Matildas. Again, all part of that learning experience. Most players will be accustomed to playing a back 4, or particularly a 4-3-3 is the most common way of playing all the way through the pathways. It's in the national curriculum, in the coaching booklets. But knowing how to play different formations, 3 at the back, is really, really important to the development of these players, who, if they do make it at senior level, will play a lot of teams that do like to sit back and are hard to break down. So knowing different ways, different paths to goal becomes very, very important, and that's all part of what games like this can provide. Lobo. Good switch of play from Maya Lobo. Finds a free player. The shot comes in and it's saved away. India Breyer was the player with the effort. Still searching for ways through here, Australia. 6 shots on target so far, but none of those straight to the keeper or easily dealt with. Ball played forward to the feet of Trimmis. McMahon back to Trimmis, who turns. Finds the runner, shot from Breyer all the way across the face of goal. Well, India Breyer has been busy. And that ball, well, it could have snuck in, it could have found the run of Eunice. But from Solomon Islands' perspective, thankfully it went out. But here's Trimmis with the high press. Peter Trimmis off the bar. It'll come back to McMahon. Shopping McMahon looking to shoot. Eunice made the wrong decision, puts her hand up in apology. Tried to play it quickly when perhaps she could have controlled the ball. Well, Trimmis is determined. She's anxious to find herself on the score sheet here. She's had a number of opportunities already. Here's the ball delivered in to McMahon, who turns and shoots over the crossbar. In fact, it was Alexis Collins that time. Again, that high press from Australia. That's another thing they would have trained, where to be. It's important to press as a team. Also to make sure that Solomons can't hit them on the counter, because it's a 2-on-1 situation here. And it's dealt with calmly in the end by Bennett. And that loomed as a potential dangerous situation for Australia. And again, another reminder of what the Solomon Islands can do. Here they come again, Gagoni. Ball forward. Makairi not able to get there. McMahon trying to bring the ball under her control. Kruger's touch, a little bit too heavy, which allows David to get on the ball. Peggy. Eileen Peggy, ball in behind. And it'll be gathered comfortably in the end by Jessica Skinner, 17-year-old from Perth. There's none of the young Matildas' three goalkeepers yet to make an appearance in the A-League Women's, but Jessica Skinner spent some time on the bench at Perth, particularly before the legendary Casey Dumont arrived at the club early in the season. Jasmine Black, who's on the bench today, has been spending time on the bench for Sydney FC as well. So with keepers, normally you can give them a couple of extra years. And careers can normally go a little bit longer. Ball delivered in from the Solomon Islands. Numbers forward. Eventually cleared away by Australia. For Cash. This is interesting from the Solomons. As soon as they lose the ball, everyone back. Solid blocks of four with those two players up top, making it very difficult for the young Matildas to find a way through. Here's Eunice. Prakash. Out wide for Breyer. Breyer's ball past Eunice McMahon. Gets her second. Shelby McMahon on the spot to tuck it home. Australia double their advantage. This was a nice ball in from India Breyer. Eunice let it go. And McMahon was there for her second. And she'll enjoy that. The Queenslander, of course, does play her football in Melbourne, but originally from the Gold Coast. Two goals for Australia, 2 goals for Shelby McMahon, 16 years of age. Solomon's looking to press high, looking to again make something happen. It's those two, Jamina David and Eileen Peggy, are the two key players for the Solomon Islands. They are the real outlets of the side. The ball crossed in, not able to be played back into the path of Peter Trimmis. Alexis Collins there. Perhaps a little bit of frustration on the face of Corey Babington. Yes, his side are 2 goals to the good, but he'll know the potential of how they can play. He'll know what they've trained. Maybe just not quite hitting their passes the way he would like at the moment. Prakash. Well, that was, again, searching for Breyer, but too much on that pass. Great to see youngsters on the hill sporting their Matildas shirts, coming out to enjoy the next generation, the stars that'll be on their screen for a long, long time. It was a beautiful evening in Canberra. Really, where would you rather be right now? I can certainly think of many worse places than sitting on the hill, enjoying some football. Kruger. And pass intercepted and immediately played forward, but no one there for the Solomons. Lobo's ball forward. Finds Eunice. Club teammates, of course, those two for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Bennett. Kruger. Prakash. Bennett again. Really well worked there by the young Matildas. Eunice's ball towards the back post. Defended away by Alamar Gagoni, and out for a young Matildas corner. It was India Breyer, the player lurking at that back post, but Gagoni was there, able to take it out of play. Gagoni was the player of the season domestically in the Solomon Islands in 2024. Kruger's ball delivered in. Will it make its way through? It will. Trimis will claim it. Well, Peter Trimis, she's been threatening all game. And the Central Coast Mariner finally gets her goal. This was a dangerous ball in. And Trimis got the final touch after it ricocheted off Alexis Collins. Especially in those early exchanges, that combination between Trimis and Eunice was the main attacking outlet for Australia. And now Trimis has gotten her goal. So 3-0 now for Australia. Shelby McMahon with that double, and now Peter Trimis on the score sheet as well. They're starting to ease into the game now, Australia. The patterns of play are making themselves a little bit more apparent, although as I say that, pass intercepted. Lovely ball from Eunice. Nice curl to find Trimis. Peter Trimis, head up, searching for options. Will go central. Zara Kruger will take a touch and shoot. Just wide of the frame of goal from Zara Kruger. Wearing the captain's armband today, 18 years of age. This season actually marks her third in the A-League Women's. Started off at Brisbane, had a season at Sydney, and then back to the Raw this time around. Of course, this window for Australia is not just about seeing players play and an international jersey. It's also about making sure that the minutes are managed. Certain players are playing consistently week in, week out in the A-League Women. Some players have had more of a substitute role. Some players not signed yet in the A-League Women's at all. So it's that balancing act for Corey Babington and his coaching staff to make sure that the players are getting the appropriate game time that he can see them, but also load management and everything that goes into that. Shelby McMahon was hoping that she could add a third. Be looking for a hat-trick today in Australian colours if she can find it. Not able to reel that one in that time. Dana Kyrie in battle, trying to play the ball up the line. Wins her side a throw. Came off Tegan Bertolicio. Bertolicio of Canberra United, so there'll be plenty of Canberra United fans in the crowd today. Be cheering her on, as well as Mary Stanich-Floody, her clubmate, who is starting on the bench today. Prakash. Oh, Bennett, the touch just got away from her. She was able to recover okay. Kruger. Lobo. And Eunice has been a consistent outlet for the young Matildas today. We played through the middle this time. Prakash. It's that first touch, a little bit too heavy. And eventually Prakash, the player to win the foul after all of that. Kruger tried to take it quickly, couldn't do so. Let's see what set piece plans Australia has in store. Kruger's got her arms up because, as if to say, where are my targets? She'll play it short anyway to Prakash, who plays it out to Bertolicio. Lobo. And ball played central, cut out. Nice turn again from Prakash. Got that technical, close ball skill ability. Avani Prakash is very good with the ball at her feet. And that ball played forward, far too much on it. One of these Australian players are quick, but probably not that quick. Look at the Australian players on the bench, pretty relaxed, watching on. A bit of a grimace from Sieta Silvestre on the bench. Of course, she scored a brace in the first game against Vanuatu. The thing about footballers is they always want to play, no matter how much coaching staff will say, oh, we want to see all of you, we want to rotate. Every single one of those players wants to be out on the pitch right now. That is always the way. Bennett. Turn from McMahon. Eunice. Talia Eunice. Back to the edge of the area. Avani Prakash will cut inside. Will come out to Kruger. Looking for the ball back in. A shot just over the crossbar. A good effort from the edge of the area by India Breyer. Just too high to challenge Hanigaro in goal. Australia looking to build from the back once more. And that ball across to Bennett didn't meet its target. Long diagonal, too much on it again. Really, apart from the 2 goals that McMahon has scored, she's been really running the show in midfield. She can hit a rocket from distance. We've seen that today. She can finish well, but she's also just a really good technical midfielder, able to conduct play. Tara Kruger as well, wearing the captain's armband, who's been in charge of a lot of that today. And does so at club level, week in, week out. From the base of midfield, being able to see the whole pitch, tell people where to go. Communication becomes very important. Trimmers dropping into midfield to pick up the ball. PacificAus. Federico's ball blocked. And Solomon's really defending stoutly here, making life a little bit challenging for Australia. Bennett. Eunice. Now for Australia's throw. Let's see if they have a long throw routine. If they do, now is the time to bring it out. It does look like Eunice will just take the throw short. It's a dying art these days, isn't it? The long throw. Eunice's throw forward into the path of Trimmers, who puts in a ball, and it's finished well. Alexis Collins gets herself on the score sheet. Fantastic work from Trimmers to put the ball in. And Australia now 4 goals to the good. Quick throw from Eunice. Found Trimmers, who played the ball into Alexis Collins, who took a touch. Took the angle around the keeper. A tidy finish and a tidy goal as well. A 16-year-old. She plays at the Newcastle Jets. She is a product of their academy as well. And there will be lots of people watching from northern New South Wales, delighted to see that goal go in. Kruger. Ball forward again. McMahon, good footwork. PacificAus. Little chip. Out to Eunice. Can she keep it in? She can. It's parried away. And cleared. Well, Alexis Collins, from originally being in the extended squad to getting her opportunity in national team colours and scoring a goal as well. Didn't get too much better than that. Driving inside is Breyer. McMahon is there. Shelby McMahon. Trimmers will take on the strike, but it'll be pulled back for a foul. Given the amount of substitutions that we expect from Australia, McMahon may only have 5 minutes of this first half if she wants a hat-trick. PacificAus back central. Eunice's delivery. And all the way through to India Breyer, but she won't be able to reel it in. A good touch from Collins. Find it back to a teammate, but wasn't able to keep her feet, was Breyer. Bennett. Trimmis. Peter Trimmis, the cross. And Alexis Collins got a good piece of that on the volley, but straight at Joan Hanagaro in goals. Again, it was good work from Trimmis to put the ball in. And it was met well. Just not well enough to be either side of the keeper. Eunice. Talia Eunice pulled towards the back post again. And cleared away again by the Solomon Islands. So we'll see a couple of substitutions now for the Solomon Islands. Interesting one at this time of the game. Elaine Valoa coming on, as is Margaret Kafella in goal. So a goalkeeping substitution. It means that Joan Hanagaro makes way, and the other player coming off for the Solomon Islands is Meslin Saipio. So changing goalkeepers as you're about to defend a corner. Well, some coaches are quite superstitious about making any substitutions when you're defending a corner. That one, certainly an interesting one just before halftime. Ball delivered in, back post again. Robo trying to get a touch on it, a big swing. Solomon Islands defenders in the way. Eventually, Collins wasn't able to get it under her control, so it'll go all the way out back to Bennett. Kruger. The ball not finding its teammate. Millie Bennett has had a lot of the ball in defence in these sorts of situations where the ball's just come to her on the right side. She gathers. She did have to do one piece of fantastic defensive work. Probably the most dangerous attack the Solomon Islands have had when there was a 2v1 situation, but she stayed very calm. And Eunice here has the ball kicked away, but is taken out in the process. Eileen Peggy. A full-hearted clearance that has just collected Eunice, and she fell rather awkwardly. Requires some physio attention. Hopefully that's nothing too serious for the youngster. She's been very, very good today. And just that back leg getting kicked on the way through by Peggy, who had no intent other than to clear the ball. And that one's got a sting. Let's just hope it's nothing other than contact. Well, meanwhile, the Solomon Islands setting up defensively to try and keep Australia out, prevent them from scoring a fifth before half-time. If you are just joining us, it was Shelby McMahon who scored an early brace. Peter Trimmis got on the score sheet, and then Alexis Collins scoring as well. Eunice is running it off. Hopefully she'll be okay. Collins cross across the face of goal. He's defended well. So 2 minutes of time added on for this first half. Australia looking to fashion one or two more opportunities in that time. Maybe it will be the Solomon Islands who managed to make something happen. Knocked away by McMahon's, given an opportunity for Breyer to run down the line. So Kruger will pick up the ball. Prakash. Ronnie Prakash left it behind. And Eunice back out there, so that's very good to see. No lasting damage from that challenge earlier. Will there be one last chance for Australia here? Lobo, Bennett, Prakash. Ivani Prakash out to Eunice. Seen her create opportunities all day, Eunice. Bennett back to Lobo. Lobo's long ball in over the head of Alexis Collins. And you'd imagine that will very likely be the final action of the first half. Margaret Kafella will take her time to take this goal kick. And indeed, that is half-time in Canberra. A brace to Shelby McMahon and goals to Peter Trimmis and Alexis Collins have capped a dominant first 45 for Australia, the young Matildas. Half-time, it is Australia 4, Solomon Islands 0. Let's take a look at how this game has played out so far. Of course, always a fantastic moment to represent your country, and players from both sides know that well. Australia started on the front foot. Peter Trimmis with a number of opportunities early in particular. And this here saved well. Of course, the keepers for the Solomon Islands required to do a lot of work throughout the game as Australia continued battling forward. Well, we'll leave you with the rest of the highlights from the first half. It's Australia 4, Solomon Islands 0. Well, welcome back to Canberra. We're taking a look at the first half highlights from Australia 4, Solomon Islands 0. Ali Yunus was very lively in that first 45. She was creating all sorts of opportunities, and this one, the Trimis exemplified was the pattern of a lot of, particularly the first 10 minutes, but throughout the entire first 45, Australia got the breakthrough through Shelby McMahon. 16-year-old working a good piece of that cross in. John Hanagaro. Well, what to do in goals for Solomon Islands. Did manage though to score a second, so a brace for Shelby McMahon. Or for industrious work. India Breyer came very close. And Peter Trimis able to play it into Alexis Collins to score for Australia. Peter Trimis got on the score sheet herself as well. And a ball on a cross earlier. So there are the match stats at halftime. Australia 16 shots to nil, 10 of those on target. And Solomon Islands haven't been without threats of their own, but they'll be hoping to at least get a couple of shots away and challenge Jessica Skinner in Australia's goal in the second half. Don't go anywhere, half-time. It's the Young Matildas 4, Solomon Islands 0. welcome back to Viking Park in Canberra, where earlier today we saw Thailand under-20s defeat Vanuatu 8-0. Of course, every match day of this PacificAus Four Nations Tournament has 2 games in it, so you don't just get to enjoy the young Matildas playing, you can enjoy another game as well. And in this game, Thailand were absolutely fantastic. They were technical, their tactical skills on point as well, making sure that Vanuatu couldn't get the counter-attacks away. And they were clinical in front of goal as well. You can see from some of these goals, they were just absolutely fantastic. 3 penalties in the game. Apologies for that delay. We'll throw now to Russ, who's in the stands with a very special fan.
Yeah, thanks, Taryn. Lots of youngsters here in the crowd today wearing their green and gold and wearing the colours of their teams that they support. But one very special fan is the young lady behind me. He's come all the way down from Campbelltown with her mum, Kelly. It's Tiana, and as you can see, she's got this quite wonderful Mary Stanich Floody flag here. So first of all, Tiana, why have you got a big flag full of images of Mary Stanich Floody?
Because she's my best friend, and ever since before she played for Canberra, we became really close, and I just saw that she loved it. She always loves everything I make, so I thought this was something very good for her to support her and show her off to everyone.
It's very unique, and it's got some amazing images on there. There's some of the pictures of you and Mary as well when she was at the wrong end of the Hume Highway at Sydney FC. Now she's down here in Canberra and enjoying life as well. Did you see her goals on Tuesday? Weren't they brilliant?
Yes, they were absolutely amazing. And she only came on not long before that, so that really was outstanding.
So what is it about Mary, though, that you love about her playing style? What is it that you think she brings?
She's just really great with the ball, and she just takes shots, and most of the time they go in, and she only scores bangers.
She does only score bangers. She's got a lot of them for Canberra this year. Are we going to see her in the second half, and is she going to score some goals?
Hopefully she does. I reckon she will. She always manages.
You've also got a Portsmouth shirt on there, signed as well. What's going on there? Tell us about the shirt.
This is a Hayden Matthews Portsmouth jersey. He moved from the A-Leagues over to Portsmouth, and I was really close with him before he left, so I talked to his parents, and they got me a jersey that was signed and everything to have, so I still had him with me.
Yeah, signed on the front and the back as well. It's a pretty special shirt. And you've got your Mary Stanich. Is Mary going to sign this for you later?
Yes, she 100% will sign it.
Absolutely. What did you make of the first half? 4 goals and they scored some crackers.
Oh, it was really good. I had a feeling that we were going to score a lot, so that is really good.
Well, thanks very much for bringing that flag down. It is absolutely brilliant. I'm sure everybody watching would agree. Sensational support of Mary Stanich Floody from Tiana and Kelly coming down from Campbelltown. The team are going to make 4 changes at the start of the second half. Taryn will take you through those as well. We've been told what they are, but there's 4 changes coming for the Matildas. And, well, Tiana and the fans behind us are certainly going to look forward to that second 45.
Thanks so much, Russ. And how good is it to see the support in the stands, not only for Australia, but for the Solomon Islands as well. Absolutely wonderful. And any time that you get to play at home, in front of home fans, your family, your friends get to come out and watch, and I'm sure that's very, very special for young Mary Stanich Floody. Well, as Russ mentioned, 4 changes at halftime for Australia. Anastasia Simic is one of those players to come on, as is Josie Allen, Claire Adams, and also Kaylee Talon Henniker, the 4 players making way. Tegan Bertolicio, India Breyer, Zara Kruger, and also Talia Eunice. So 4 changes at halftime for the young Matildas. We expected lots of changes throughout this game and indeed throughout the tournament. An opportunity to have a look at a number of players, a number of different combinations as well. And we'll have a slightly different looking young Matildas side for this second half as a result. So Solomon Islands get us back underway. The second half of match day 2 of the PacificAus Four Nations Tournament in Canberra. Australia currently leading 4-0 thanks to a brace to Shelby McMahon, goals also to Peter Trimmis and Alexis Collins in that first half. And Australia, well, they'll be looking to add to their advantage. Solomon Islands, they'll be looking to fashion some opportunities of their own. They had their moments in the first half. This could be another moment here, but it's dealt with really, really calmly by Lobo. There's that danger player again, Jamina David. She's the one to look out for the Solomon Islands. The young Matildas were striding forward there. Alexis Collins, one of those first half goal scorers. A good sliding challenge prevented her progress any further. And Josie Allen, one of those half-time substitutes on the ball now. Playing it central into Claire Adams. The Newcastle flavour to the half-time substitutions. Both Adams and Allen playing for the Newcastle Jets. McMahon's ball threaded all the way through to Trimmis. Peter Trimmis sees her shot saved. But on the second time of asking, it's saved again. At the third time of asking, she puts the ball away. Peter Trimmis scores early in the second half. She picks up a brace. And Australia now 5 goals to the good. It was a great ball in, a good save firstly by Margaret Cafella. A good save again, And eventually, Trimmis was able to force it through. Little shake in the head after then. Perhaps she thinks she should have scored it the first time, but all's well ends well. The ball is in the back of the net. And Peter Trimmis scores her second. So that is just the start to the second half that Australia would have wanted. Continuing to apply the pressure, continuing to score goals. Here they come again, that touch a little bit too much. Eventually play will have to be stopped because there's a player down here, Shelby McMahon, after taking that ball up when she was challenged. She's just gripping it her head here, which will mean an automatic physio assessment will have to be undertaken as she gingerly gets to her feet. Looks like it was the fall here. Yeah, she's hit her head on the leg of Edith Nari on the way down. So it wasn't the challenge itself, it's just the way she fell awkwardly. The back of her head hitting Nari's leg on the way down. So she'll go through all of the correct assessments here with the physio. She's smiling, which is always a good sign. The Australian bench perhaps contemplating their next move if McMahon is unable to continue, but hopefully she's okay. The thumbs up is always a good sign as well. Arlene Peggy just checking in on proceedings and making sure everything's okay as well. So play back underway, the young Matildas with the ball. Good work from Allen to find Trimmis. Prakash. Anastasia Simic played it central and then the ball in. Headed away by the Solomon Islands. Anastasia Simic from Adelaide As we watch this attack come in, Allen's ball towards the back post. It's helped on its way. And Collins now has her second. Alexis Collins in the right place after the ball was tapped back into her path. Great work from Allen. And then a nice touch from Kaylee Talon-Henniker, another one of those halftime substitutions. So 3 players now on a brace. Alexis Collins, Peter Trimmis, and also Shelby McMahon. Who will score a hat-trick first? Will any of them score a hat-trick? That'll be the question now. Will someone get to take the match ball home? Surely in a national team camp like this, pretty great bragging rights to bring the match ball back to your room after a game. Oh, high interception here. Solomon Islands on the attack. Donna Kyrie plays it central. Peggy is there. Eileen Peggy gets the touch. And it's off the woodwork. It was Jamina David, in fact, who got the touch. Oh, she's so disappointed, Jamina David. She was the player who scored against New Zealand in the OFC final. Only inches away from what would have been a historic goal for the Solomon Islands. It was created by the industry of Donna Kyrie, who was able to get there, win the ball high, play it into Jamina David. Well, Solomon Islands only inches away from scoring against Australia. And despite conceding 2 early goals in the second half, that will give them a boost of confidence. Of course, it's all about learning. It's all an experience for all of these teams, but particularly the Solomons and Vanuatu as well. Cash, shot from distance. Very tame, straight at Margaret Kafella. Lobo. Out to Bennett. Looking for a way through, playing it out from the back. And if you are just joining us, Australia playing with a 3 at the back, which is a system that a lot of these players would be less familiar with. But something that is incredibly valuable to learn, particularly against teams that may well sit in a low block. McMahon. It's come all the way out to Talon-Henniker, who puts it in the back of the net. The 19-year-old from Sydney FC gets involved in the goal scoring. 7 now for Australia. And it came out well to her. It was well struck. And she put it away. So one of the halftime substitute strikes. One of the elder statesmen of the team as well at 19. Along with Mary Stanich-Floody, Maya Lobo. Well, we wondered if the next goal would be a hat-trick to a player. Instead, a new goal scorer altogether, Kaylee Talon-Henneke. Of course, this window is all about the beginning of a new cycle. Over the course of the last Young Matildas cycle, which lasted 2 years, there were over 50 players used. We can expect to see similar numbers this time out. It's Talon-Henneke trying to cut inside, create another opportunity. For Cash. Anastasia Simic. Not able to get the ball through. What that means, of course, is that these players, oh, it is the squad now, it'll change, it'll ebb and flow. There are players who have been involved in the 17s that will come back into the fold. There have been players who have not been involved at any level for Australia who will emerge in the next 2 years. We saw that in the last cycle, the likes of Tanae Morris, the likes of Tish Woods. We don't know who those players are yet. We've got 2 years to find out. Peter Trimmis, the cutback blocked away and taken out for an Australia throw. But indeed, what we're seeing in front of us at the moment, there's so much talent out there. It is so exciting to think about what these players will be, not only just next year, but in years to come as well. A double change here for the Solomon Islands. Alicia Dongda, one of the players coming on, as is Kalina Fua. Marina Solosea making her way off the pitch, as is Elaine Maloa. Elena Maloa came on in the first half, so interesting to see her substituted back out. About 20 minutes of game time for her in total. Trimmis' ball. Prakash. Down the line, Talon-Henneke. Cross in. Kefella able to claim. Well, Simic, one of the few players who isn't signed for an A-League women's team just yet. She is a tall defender from Adelaide, renowned for being very good with the ball at her feet. As we can see right here, she's calm, she's composed. Certainly someone to look out for in the next couple of years. An opportunity now for the Solomons. Gugoni was the player applying pressure and forcing the ball out for a Solomons throw. And they almost scored from that transitional situation. Can they make something happen here from the throw? Claire Adams defending. Vani Prakash picks up the ball. Peter Trimmis. Trimmis looking to cut inside. Adams goes to ground and wins a foul. A yellow card produced for Jamina David for that foul as well. Claire Adams making herself busy. coming off the bench at half-time. Simic takes the free kick. Talon Henniker not able to control the ball, so out for a Solomon's throw. McMahon winning the foul that time. She'll look to take it quickly. Play on, says the referee. Talon Henniker. Options in the middle. Simic. Nicely worked by Australia. Prakash. Prakash will fire a shot. Just wide. Vani Prakash taking the captain's armband after Zara Kruger was substituted off at half-time. That'll be shared around throughout the tournament, giving as many opportunities to players as possible to wear that armband, to show their leadership skills. It's an important part of the development of these players. Prakash poked through, too much on it and too close to the keepers, so Margaret Kafella is able to come out and dive on the ball. Peter Trimmer's taking up more of a wide role in this second half. She was very much the centre forward in the first half and was therefore very much getting on the end of those opportunities. This time perhaps looking to turn more creator in the second half. I saw her used to very good effect in last year's Under-20 Asian Cup. She came on in midfield, dropped back to midfield, and then assisted the goal that won Australia third place in that tournament. She's certainly capable of it, not just a goal scorer. Long diagonal. Was looking for the run of Talon Henniker, couldn't quite find her. Nice turn into midfield. Good run from Adams. Trimmis. Peter Trimmis for the hat-trick! And she gets there. Peter Trimmis, an international hat-trick for the 18-year-old. And it has been coming. She's been central to Australia's attack all game. Great work from Claire Adams to play in Trimmis there. And Peter Trimmis, well, she wins the race to take the match ball home. 3 goals. And she doesn't celebrate too much, knowing the scoreline, but that will have to be quietly very satisfying for her. Here she is again, Trimmis. Adams. Claire Adams going to ground. Again, just trying to create something. She picked up the assist for the previous goal. Here come the Solomon Islands, blocked away by Simic, that cross from Alamagogoni. So a corner for the Solomon Islands. You wonder if they'll just put it long and try and create a little bit of chaos for Australia. Who's going to take the corner? No one going over at the moment. Finally, Eileen Peggy is the player that runs over. The captain will take responsibility over this corner. Indeed, there's no one dropping in to allow for a short corner, so, well, now there is, so they will play it short. Peggy delivering a ball towards the front post. Well, it looked for a second like Donna Kyrie was going to be able to hook that back into the penalty area, but in the end, out for an Australia goal kick. So some substitutions now for Australia. Peter Trimmis, Shelby McMahon amongst the players coming off. Coming on, well, Mary Stanish-Floody, we saw the fan club for her earlier. We'll be getting an almighty cheer now. The other players coming on, Christina Kicek and Nikita Fazari. Fazari actually represented the Australian futsal team in their recent Asian Cup qualification. She was the youngest player in that team. She scored 5 goals at that qualifying tournament. So she knows how to put the ball in the back of the net, albeit a smaller net and indoors, but similar thing. It's confirming the players coming off there for Australia. Amelia Bennett, Shelby McMahon and Peter Trimmis. So a hat-trick for Peter Trimmis. A good day out for her. Shelby McMahon scored the first 2 goals. And then Amelia Bennett, who didn't have a lot of defensive work to do, but what she did have to do, did well, and was an outlet for Australia in possession at the back. Prakash. Ball central for Zari. That fancy footwork. A shot from Lobo from distance. Oh, the defender challenging the goalkeeper there. Maya Lobo did score in the first game against Vanuatu, so looking to add a second that time. It was a nice touch, a nice shot too. It's good to see defenders adding strings to their bow. Stanish-Flooddy's ball in, the header. And that's 9 for Australia. And it's a hat-trick for Alexis Collins, who got on the end of that ball in from Mary Stanish-Flooddy. She becomes the second Australian to score a hat-trick today. Prakash on the ball here, playing it in to Stanish-Flooddy, only just been substituted on. And then the header, well, it took a deflection. Collins will claim it. Maybe we'll have to wait and see post-match the dubious goals committee whether that will be awarded to Collins or an own goal. But for now, we'll say Collins hat-trick and a well-deserved one for the 16-year-old as well. Here come Australia again. Helen Henniker. Ball back, appeals for handball, not heeded. Australia really come into their own in the second half, but now the Solomons on the counter. It's a 2v1 situation here. The ball in. I was looking for Donna Kyrie and then the run of Eileen Peggy, but it's defended away. Getting closer, the Solomons. They hit the post earlier. If they can get a goal here, that will send Canberra into raptures. I think everyone here in Canberra would be absolutely delighted. Maybe not that man, Corey Babington, and maybe not the Australian players, but you'd imagine the crowd would erupt. Here come the Solomons again. Dongda trying to play the ball forward. Kyrie throws her hands up in frustration. Prakash's ball sends Talon Henniker off and chasing. Talon Henniker, central. Collins twisting, turning. Back to Lobo with the strike. What a finish! Maya Lobo from the edge of the penalty area. The centre-back has absolutely leathered it into the back of the net. It was good work from Collins to play it back to Maya Lobo. It was a pinpoint finish. And again, not much of a celebration, but my goodness, that was well struck. Just another day in the office for Maya Lobo. She's found herself playing in midfield in this second half, which is why she's been in those advanced positions, but you know, she's a defender by trade. Lovely little flick on. Crowd enjoyed that. Allen, the cross in. And Collins couldn't get the contact that she would have liked on that one. The young Matildas are really running rampant in this second half. Maybe a little bit of those futsal skills coming out there from Fazari with that back heel. That got the crowd up and about. Solomon Islands looking to drive forward, but again intercepted. And another attack for Australia. Talon Henniker's ball, looking for the overlapping run. And can't be found. Well, now's a great time to go down pitch side with Russ Gibbs. Russ, what can you tell us about what's happening down at ground level?
Thanks, Taryn. Well, the roof has fallen in on Solomon Islands here in spectacular style in the second half, hasn't it? 6 goals in 27 minutes, and the Australians are absolutely rampant at the moment. So much so that it's getting hard for the Solomon Islands to find someone who's actually willing to kick off once they've conceded a goal. If you watch when they do concede, if they concede another, there's a very lack of players wanting to go forward and get the game restarted again. They're really much into Darren Mint's limitation exercise right now, are the Solomon Islands. In the first half, they were happy to drop off and defend deep. Their coach, in fact, was urging them to not go too far back, and it was a fine line that they were treading in the second half. It's certainly gone the other way. They've tried to compress the middle of the park. Australia's patience has been excellent, and they've run out of legs here, the Solomon Islands, and there might be a few more goals in the remaining 17 minutes or so.
Thanks for that, Russ. And indeed, it has been a rampant Australia in this second half. Imagine here for the Solomons, it is about damage limitation, but also if they can have another opportunity. They came so close to scoring that goal. It wouldn't have changed the result, but it would have been something nice to take back with them. Zari down the line, lovely work from Simic. Zari, fancy footwork, trying to deliver the ball in, and wins her side a corner. Stanage Floody. Prakash. Nice little 1-2. Vani Prakash will deliver a ball in here. It's headed away. And now Stanage Floody back into the mixer. The header will loop up and is caught comfortably by Joan Hanigaro. Which was caught by Margaret Kafella in goal. Hanigaro, of course, starting for the Solomon Islands. Kafella coming on just about 5 minutes before half-time. Indeed came on just as they were defending a corner, so fascinating time for a goalkeeper substitution that was. Simic. Stanage Floody. Ball in behind, searching for the run of Collins. Couldn't quite find her. With another one of the players at the back for Australia who was substituted on. Christina Kicek. She is another player who was a late inclusion into the squad. She plays her football with RPL Leichhardt in the New South Wales NPL. Australia looking to come forward again. Collins, how about the back heel? But Prakash can't get there. Maybe Stanage Floody can. Can't direct the shot on target. Rueful smile from Mary Stanage Floody. How about that from Alexis Collins? Scored a hat-trick. Now he's having some fun out there with that back heel. So a few more substitutions for Australia. It is Collins, one of the players coming off. She'll be replaced by Sienna Saveska of Western Sydney Wanderers. Saveska has scored 7 goals in the A-League Women's this season. It really has been a breakout year for her. And if you look at the other promising young forwards that are coming through the league, her output this season has been phenomenal. And a team that hasn't scored that many goals either. Sian Dewey, the other player who has come on for Australia, she is of Adelaide United. Here they come in Australia. Saveska straight into the action. Fazzari, Nikita Fazzari. Deflected away. Now for a corner. Wouldn't she love to put one in the back of the net? Plays her outdoor for NWS Spirit in the New South Wales NPL. Scored 2 goals in 2024 with 10 starts. And a couple of substitutions for the Solomon Islands. So Jessica Rotoaba coming on, as is Sandy Antholland. She is replacing Jamina David, and then also Alicia Dongda, the player, coming off. So another substitution on and off for the Solomons. Rotoaba, a very young player, only recently played in under-15s development competition. So as much as it is a wonderful learning opportunity for everyone, for her in particular, it is a massive one. As Eileen Peggy was looking to get on the end of that ball, couldn't quite do so. And that is what the Solomon Islands are looking for at the moment. Yes, a bit of damage control, but they won't mind conceding an extra couple of goals if they can get one back themselves. That would mean the world if they can do that. Well, the third time the Solomon Islands have subbed a sub in this tournament, which is fascinating. You don't often see it in outdoor. But in saying that, Solomon Islands have a rich tradition of futsal, and perhaps that's where that comes from. These players, for the most part, all play for the women's national futsal team as well. And obviously in futsal, there's lots of quick substitutions off and on, so perhaps something that those players are used to, playing a lot of futsal. Cash not able to get there. Clever little ball in behind from Fazzari. Fazzari, good footwork again, but the touch just eluding her, which allowed Kalina Fua to get on the ball instead. Cash. Saveska. Cross. Going to no one in the end. Just out for a goal kick. So 10 minutes or so of regulation time remaining, plus stoppages. Australia, for the most part, will be happy with their work. No doubt Coach Corey Babington would have been hoping that, particularly in the first half, they were just a little bit more clinical and able to convert their chances, and they came within whiskers of conceding a goal as well. And Jamina David struck the post in the second half. This ball delivered in will be claimed by Kafella. So there'll certainly be plenty for the Australian coaching staff to work on, to think about ahead of Game 3 against Thailand, and won't that be a phenomenal game? Thailand looked absolutely fantastic against Vanuatu today. The technical ability of the players, the close control, absolutely outstanding. As Silvestre has an opportunity, it's saved well by the keeper. And they come again, the young Matildas. That goal being saved, obviously the form that Sienna Silvestre is in, it's more of a shock that it didn't ripple the back of the net, really. And she'll be hoping to add her name to the score sheet in this game. Shot from distance, Silvestre goes wide. The crowd watching on, a packed crowd in Canberra as well. It's a beautiful night for it. Why wouldn't you be at Viking Park? And of course, given it is a home game for Australia, there'll be friends and family in the stands, but also a lot of young fans, maybe fans of Canberra United or fans of the Matildas, who are catching a first glimpse of the next generation right before their eyes. Players who will represent the senior Matildas one day. Players who will one day become the nation's heroes, just like the current Matildas are. And some of these young fans in the stand watching on in their Matildas jerseys, they can say, hey, I saw them back at under 20 level, back before people knew how good these players were. Young Matildas once more. Helen Henniker, Adams. Claire Adams looking to deliver a ball of quality. Aileen Peggy will come across and take the ball out of play for a corner. Silvestre will take the corner short. Ivana Prakash back to Silvestre. Ball in, flicked on. And the touch just wide from Christina Kicek. It was good work from Silvestre, a good flick header, and a clever idea from Kicek. That little flick just off target. You figure if it had been on target, the keeper was probably beaten. Dewey looking to play the ball up the line. Sian Dewey had a great season for Adelaide United this season, and Josie Allen, she's been fantastic for Newcastle. 3 goals in the A-League Women's this season. Has that straight line speed, the ability to beat players on the dribble. Edith Nari will take this goal kick for the Solomon Islands. Flick on by Silvestre. Here come the Solomon Islands. Can they fashion another opportunity, another shot? Well, Sandy-Ann Holland takes the ball away. Just wasn't able to control it there. Well, 4 minutes now of regulation time remaining plus stoppages. We've seen 2 hat-tricks in this game to Alexis Collins and Peter Trimmis. Shelby McMahon scored a brace, Maya Lobo and Kaylee Talon-Henniker, the other players on the score sheet. Prakash. Allen. Silveska. Ball in, the header. Saved away. Another opportunity though for the young Matildas. Chance isn't over. Stunage Floody making a nuisance of herself in there. Hasn't she been in fantastic form for Canberra United? A lot of these fans will be used to seeing Mary Stunage Floody this season. Had a wonderful connection with the great Michelle Heyman up top, who is of course away in the United States with the senior Matildas. Stunage Floody's ability to create opportunities and to score some cracking goals as well. Scored 2 of them against Vanuatu. She scored 2 in the A-League women's season. It's a nice turn from Donna Kyrie. Silveska trying to find space. She'll poke it out wide to Fazari. Fazari's ball towards the back post. A touch from Talon-Henniker. Just getting away from her. So another corner for the young Matildas here. Those Matildas fans in the crowd enjoying what they've seen today. 10 goals, can't ask for much more than that. Silveska's ball delivered towards the front post, gathered well by Kafella. Allen driving into space. Nikita Fazari. Fancy footwork, Fazari. Towards the back post again. Will it be finished? It will this time. Sienna Silveska gets her goal from the bench. The goal she's been threatening to do the whole time she's been on the pitch. An acknowledgement of the work from Fazari to put the ball in. Won't go down as an assist, but it was her work that got the ball into the dangerous area. Allen's shot ricocheting straight into the path of Silveska. 11 now for Australia. Just has a knack for scoring goals, Sienna Silveska. Been doing it all season. That one a little bit fortuitous in the way that it fell to her in the penalty area. But they all count. Only 1 minute of added time. Australia will be looking to fashion one last opportunity if they can. Played forward, up the line. It'll be gathered by Silvestre. Can Australia get one last shot away? Talon Henneke strikes and hits the back of the net. A second for Kaylee Talon Henneke. An assist for Sienna Silvestre to go with her goal. And that is the full-time whistle. The young Matildas have been dominant. 12 goals in the end. They just kept on coming. It took them a while to get going in the first half, but hat-tricks to Peter Trimmis and Alexis Collins means that at full time, it is the young Matildas 12, Solomon Islands 0. So a fantastic day out for Australia. They grew into the game and got better as things went on. Let's take a look at the goals. The first one, Shelby McMahon. And the keeper will certainly want that one back. McMahon got her second. She scored the first two. The midfielder. This one, Peter Trimmis, she'd been pushing for the whole first half. She was very happy to get the final touch on that one. And turned provider this time as her ball found Alexis Collins. That's where the score was at halftime, 4-0. Immediately after the break, the young Matildas were able to hit back again. Trimmis, well, it took 3-4 times. Eventually she hit the back of the net, and that little shake of the head says what she thought of the first two misses. Collins tucked away her second. Talon Henneke come on, delivered a goal from just outside the penalty area, and then Trimmis, her hat-trick, much deserved for her efforts. Mary Standish-Floody, another substitute, came on, gave Alexis Collins her hat-trick, perhaps, depending on whether that counts or not. Maya Lobo, normal centre-back, a fantastic finish from the edge of the area, and then a ball in from Fazari. The shot from Allen was blocked. It came out to Silvestre. Right on the final whistle, Talon Henneke, a very similar spot to where she scored her first. She tucked it away for her second. So the stats from that match, Australia 34 shots to 1. That one shot from the Solomon Islands, though, came so close to scoring what would have been a fantastic goal for them. It hit the post after a touch from Jamina David. And so unfortunately, it means that the Solomon Islands leave this match empty-handed. So 2 hat-tricks for Australia today. Alexis Collins, maybe, depending on whether the referee has awarded that goal to her or to an own goal. 16 years of age, was a late inclusion into this squad, just showing what she can do. A product of Newcastle. Peter Trimmis scoring the other hat-trick, the 18-year-old from the Mariners. This is her second time around in the under-20s. Still only 18 years of age. Part of a cohort of players who participated in the last under-20s cycle. Other goal scorers today, Shelby McMahon, the 16-year-old Queenslander who plays for Melbourne City, scored the first 2 goals. Maya Lobo with a long-range effort. Sienna Silvestre made an impact immediately off the bench, scoring and assisting. And Kaylee Talon Henneke ended the game with a brace, the 19-year-old from Sydney FC. 2 very similar goals from a similar side of the penalty area. Just knows how to find the back of the net. So a good day out for the young Matildas. There's Christina Kuchek as well. Got some game time. Another late inclusion into the squad. They don't muck around, do they? The players, they didn't get a satisfactory amount of minutes. They're there doing more drills, running around. They don't go easy on these players. For those that have played the set amount of minutes, at least they get to stretch and recover. Corey Babington just having a look over his players. Well, match day 3 is coming up on Tuesday at 3 p.m. It'll be the Solomon Islands taking on Vanuatu at 6:30 p.m. It'll be Australia and Thailand's under-20s teams going head-to-head. That'll be a fascinating matchup. Both of these games will be incredibly exciting and close and interesting. That game between Australia and Thailand, something to remember is Thailand's under-17s last year defeated Australia's under-17s in the group stage of the Asian Cup. Now, Australia were missing a lot of players out of that tournament through injury, but a lot of those players are the same ones that have now graduated into under-20, so it'll be fascinating to see how those two sides go in Canberra this time out with, of course, a new age group, new players have been added in. The players from the previous cycle for both sides still involved in the under-20s, and Thailand have looked very good in this tournament so far. They're just watching these players get put through their paces. We'll throw now to Russ Gibbs on the sideline, who has an Australian player for us now.
Peter Trimmis, hat-trick hero, international hat-trick. Doesn't happen very often, does it? So how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling very proud. I'm proud of the girls, and to come away with a good win, and obviously to get a few goals is such a good feeling as well.
The team started off very well, but in the second half, that explosive start, 6 goals in 27 minutes. What do you put that down to?
I think Corey took us in at half-time and just knew that the standards weren't good enough for us. Even though we were getting the goals, we know that we can be better, and we took that out on the pitch and really delivered.
How pleasing was it that the goals you scored, not just yours, but quite a lot of them were at the end of team moves? There wasn't just individual skill, was it? It was all about the group.
Yeah, definitely. We've been working on that a lot at training, combining in wide areas. And, yeah, I think we did that really well and scored a couple good goals.
2 big wins that you've had so far in this tournament. Really testing game coming up on Tuesday against Thailand. You looking forward to that one?
Yeah, definitely. The game against Thailand will be a harder one, but we're really excited for the challenge.
And how exciting is it to be part of this group? There's so many good players in there, isn't there? And there's so many that have missed out as well. What's the camaraderie like?
Yeah, there's so much new upcoming talent coming through, and just the few days I've spent with the girls, you can see how good everyone is. And yeah, it's really high competition, but I think it's good because it drives us all to keep getting better, and it's really exciting.
And finally, from a personal perspective, how do you top this? Where do you go from here?
Another hat-trick against Thailand.
Thanks so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
A big thank you to Peter Trimmis for giving us her time there. Another hat-trick against Thailand. You heard it here first. That is the aim for Peter Trimmis after scoring 3 today. Well, thank you so much for joining our coverage of this game. It's been a pleasure to bring this to you. My name is Taryn Heddo. A dominant performance by Australia, which sees it end here. Australia under 20s 12, Solomon Islands 0.